So there, folks, welcome back to Towns with Charon and Velerious.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Look at them all idling in the market, Velerious. They're not still soldiers, so why are they still in the market? I guess they've got no jobs to do.
I think you just turned them back, didn't you?
I'm going to unpause them. Yeah, we must have just turned them back then. I know they're making some pork, because we were getting low on the old food. There we go. It's starting to rack up.
My PC is now like, oh my god, guys,
Yeah.
you're actually doing something.
My PC is like, oh my god, I better put my fan on super fast.
Yeah.
Some overheating, running epic towns.
It was just watching like Red Dwarf for the past like 3 hours. It was like, nice, easy video rendering, so easy, so fun. Oh my god, towns, so shit.
Do you think I should quickly get them mining?
Most likely, they don't seem to be doing anything
Because
at all.
yeah, they're not really doing anything else. Let's get a little bit of mining done.
Right, we need to mine out all this stuff.
Was it this bit we were taking out?
Yes. Because we wanted to take it out around the door, he said. Craigham's not said.
If I do...
They'll walk round the back. So to get to that one down there, they'll walk through the little passageway.
I've clicked. Oh,
I
no, I
know.
can unclick.
It's your fault. There
we go.
So
So,
ruined everything.
yeah, but all of this is like interconnected anyway. They're always going to take a shit way round.
Yeah, but we want them to take the least, like, annoying way.
So if I do...
So mine everything
like...
except the back blocks, basically. That's all we have to do. Yeah, like that. Yep.
Like that.
Uh-huh.
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 That Emperor's New Groove.
You also, as well...
Yeah.
Just reminded me, we should probably have a talk about that Towns updating thing, because some people...
Thing.
Well, we mentioned about why we run Towns version 8, like, once every
Well,
50 episodes.
let me contextualise it, because somebody left a comment asking if we're ever going to update our version of the game.
But every 50 episodes, we should probably go back to this, because people watch it and then, like...
Yeah, it's one of those things that gets bypassed. Like, somebody asked on my Lords of Football recently if I knew that you could give commands to the team during the match. I'm like, yes, but the rule, as laid down in the first episode, is that Derpsville United have to become great off their own steam. So yeah, I mean, like, I suppose it's a good idea to go over that again. The whole point is, this is version 8 of Towns. Version 9 of Towns onwards have backwards compatible saves. So, if you were playing on Towns version 9 and they upgraded it to 10, your save would still work in version 10. However, that wasn't the case back here, so this save cannot be carried through to anything newer than version 8, which is what it's in. So, the only way to upgrade would be to start again, from scratch.
Yeah.
And by that point, we were already, like, 60-odd episodes in. And it didn't seem like a good idea back then. It still doesn't seem like a good idea now. It's like, we have a very distinct end game in mind.
And the other issue would be that if we did have to restart it now, it'd be like, very kind of, we wouldn't know what to do, really.
I wouldn't even want to restart.
Yeah.
That's the point. I'm done this. We haven't finished doing it, but I'm not willing to go through it all again, basically.
So essentially from now until Towns finishes, everything like that, will always be on just version 8.
Yeah.
I think it's version 8A.
Yeah, it's 8A, and it will always be 8A until we reach one of the two end scenarios. End scenario 1 is that modern technology advances to the point where towns won't run.
Yeah.
I.e., one computer dies, you get a new one, the operating system doesn't support towns, tough shit, that's the end of it, sort of deal. Or, alternatively, we finish building all these houses up so they all have roofs, that includes the taverns and the new housing complex, then build a badger arena and a mansion. That's the end game.
Yeah. Just making Derpsville a smaller community of really happy people and a mansion.
And when we achieve that, it'll be fun to draw a line under this and move on to something else, because we'll have that. We'll have achieved something not many people have achieved. We'll have built the beautiful city of Derpsville in Towns.
I mean, what people got to remember as well is, like, it's pretty hard playing in Towns version 8.8A.
Yeah.
Because we've got so used to it now, it'd be weird going on to the new one. Animals can become extinct and things like that. It's
and you have to do, Craig Gummersall has a handy list of, like, how you get the different heroes in version 14.
Yeah.
And it's like each hero has a different thing. It's like if you put a harp in the room, an elf will come, and if you put something else in there, someone else will come. Sort of a bit like Unholy Heights, how you'd like attract different monsters to the rooms by putting different items in there. Holy shit, they made short work of that, didn't they? That's it.
Pretty short work.
They just monstered through that. I'll take another one out. I'll get this out as well. So yeah, we're not going to upgrade. That's the basics of that.
What does Towns run with, by the way?
What do you mean?
Like, does it use Java or Flash, out of interest?
Probably written in. Well, it's not Java, and I'm pretty sure it's not Flash. I think it's probably written in something like C or Basic. But
just wondering. I don't know. Some game recently that I was playing that was actually written in Java. I've just updated Java, gave it no longer work for it, and I was like, oh no.
I keep getting a one when we play Minecraft that like download the non-Java version, it might run better, and I'm like, yeah, it might do, but if it doesn't, then, what a pain in the arse that's going to be. At least I know the Java version works in the loosest possible definition of the phrase works.
It's just one of those
I'm
things.
always wary about, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, is my motto. You know what I mean? It's... And, this works, and it still functions, and it's become a tradition to continue playing this utter pile of shit.
It is an utter pile of shit. And any bugs, obviously, that are in Towns version 8 will obviously rape us. Because these bugs will never be patched, because we'll never be updating. Yeah. So it's like, if you find a bug in Towns 8, just deal with it.
Reaching the end of the dungeon, that was the other...
Yeah.
The three things we'll be doing is building the arena, building the mansion, and reaching the bottom of the dungeon.
Think of it like Civilization, except we have to finish all things instead of just one or two.
And when we do finish this, oh my god, I don't even know what we're going to replace it with. It's going to have to be something... Maybe we could do City Skylines or something.
Depends, really.
I don't know. Do you want to do another city builder after this?
I would like doing a city builder, but I kind of like...
this could still be months and months away, so it's like... There could be games that come out...
The problem with City Skylines is
we don't know about.
It's the problem like Tropico. You don't really have...
There's no defined endpoint.
Well, not only that, but it's like you don't really have much in the way of... with the people. We've got 62 people in this town, that's it.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, how many like City Skylines do you actually give a shit about? You start out with like that's 200 true. Fucking people.
It's more about the city rather than the people.
Yeah, it's like Tropico. You start out with so many people. I'd never want to do a series on it because it'd just be boring. It'd be, right, let's build an actual city that works. Where this is more like, let's try and make these idiots survive another town.
And it's very easy to fall into that fucking sandbox trap of playing games that don't end.
Yeah.
And then, like Town of Salem, we're just always going to be playing Town of Salem now, because there's no finite end to Town of Salem, and people love it. And
the finite end to Town of Salem is if the views drop off and stay off.
But it's not, it's consistently the most watched thing on both channels, which is
if suddenly, cool. Though, we uploaded 3 weeks worth of Town of Salem that all got 0 views, it'd be like, well, that's time to basically leave it alone now.
But the point is, it's not going to reach an next one. Like Left 4 Dead, we know exactly how many episodes there's going to be. We know when it's going to end. We can start planning ahead for what we're going to replace it with.
Same with Payday. We knew when that was going to end.
Exactly.
Except that was...
Well, we had a rough idea. Yeah. There was still new content coming out for it. But we had, we had a goal in mind. One episode for each map, basically.
The other thing is, as well, we don't know how long it would take to actually finish Towns. Now, obviously,
there is no end to Towns. We've set the end by saying that's the goal: the Badger Arena, the dungeon, and the.
But once again, there is that game that obviously I keep pestering you about, and it's like even though it's still in like alpha beta mode now, imagine how long it'd take for us to get this mansion built and this Badger Arena and everything. By that point, it could actually be good.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
so that
like
could be the possibility, and
the point is: do we want another sandboxy game, or do we want something that we can? Because at the moment we play on this channel 3 open-ended games, and 1 slot that finishes. Basically,
the one thing you've got to remember, right, is saying we don't want a sandbox game. The next game that we do, this is quite a popular series where we're sat next to each other. Yeah, and we can do stuff like this, and we only get to do that with things like this.
I sort of want to move away from doing it like this, because it's more difficult.
It's more difficult, but
it's more difficult because the sound quality is not as good. We've always had this problem with the derping around videos as well. Of like, it's a lot harder to get your sound right when 2 people are sharing 1 microphone.
We manage to a degree,
and then also there's the fact that like. I sort of have more free time than you. Depends whether you've got coursework or not. When you don't have coursework, you've got more free time than I have. When you do have coursework, you've got less free time than I have. And it's like, I always have to leave this up to you to render, and time to time, if you're busy, like last week, for example, I got Towns like the night before it had to be up. You know what I mean?
Well, for a few weeks, I'm really busy now.
Yeah, if it had been wrong or anything, we'd have had to last minute render it the next day before it goes up, which is tricky. So I would rather if it's something we can film on the actual, separate computers, because then at least I'm doing all the rendering, all the editing, and it's I don't have to worry about it. I know it's there, and I can plan my schedule out and get it all done.
The only thing then, though, is like when you do derping and rounds, that's all. Only thing that's kind of like.
But they're bonus vids, so it doesn't matter. There's no time constraints on them. I don't have to come to you and go, I need that derping around. It's got to be up tomorrow. You know what I mean?
I'm saying though is people who like that format will only get it from that then.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still kind of open for ideas if people want to discuss it ever and have a talk about
if people have got any specific game suggestions,
like
I mean, it's always hard to try to pick a game to play.
Yeah.
Because you've got to balance lots of different things. You've got to make sure, first of all, that it's technically able to be filmed in a useful way that we can then put on YouTube. Because some games, you can't film them very well because there's technical issues, like, Fraps doesn't hook it, or it doesn't run in a proper resolution.
Immediately, I would say, don't recommend games that are just out. Sometimes you have some frame issues with.
But it's not just stuff like that. But it's like multiplayer Civ, for example,
or games that are 3 years old.
We considered multiplayer Civ, but we could only really film one POV. You know what I mean? It's and then. Is it worth doing? Is it worth watching one person's POV in a multiplayer game?
I personally don't reckon it's worth doing Civ.
No, I don't. That's why we haven't done Civ. It's actually not as buggy as you think.
Saving and loading in multiplayer adds a little bit of bugging to that.
The saving and loading is a bit of a pain.
When you do next turns, sometimes if the sync issue is there, you're not going to be able to click next turn. So you have to sit there and wait for that to come on.
We shouldn't get as many sync issues because all three of us are in the UK.
You say we shouldn't, but sometimes we have had them even
But that was when Pinky was in, and Pinky was in Poland with shit internet, and it was him causing the sync issues, in the same way that they have trouble with people like Rivian and, the Ryogs have trouble with Rivian and
the other thing, obviously,
the guy in the States, because it's like... That's what causes it. It's the latency.
The other thing, as I said, is like games that are 3 years older than now seem to always have some kind of problem or issue. There's some that are an exception to that, but
pretty much every fucking game that comes out these days has some sort of problem or issue. That's the hard part, trying to work that around. And then it's like, but other games like we've been asked before whether we wanted to do that. What was that flying one? Guns of Icarus.
Oh yeah.
And we looked into doing that, but again, it's like. What POVs do you film? It's like...
Well, the other hard thing about that was the fact that it's online.
It doesn't lend itself well to being filmed unless you can film all POVs and take the time to edit between them all so that you get a nice mixture of content. You know what I mean?
Also online.
Otherwise, it's just one guy hitting a gun with a fucking wrench for an hour.
But as I say, it was also online. And the one issue with that is the fact that if you have any games that are online and we go to play them, there is always the potential you get someone who is lagging or something wrong on their end.
Yeah.
And... if you're in a game like Guns of Icarus and you're fighting against an enemy who is lagging,
you're just going to get owned.
Their ship could be lagging, or they could be lagging themselves, so that it's really piss-easy fight, to the point that it's just not fun.
Yeah.
So it's like, you've always got to consider with these multiplayer games, that if that happens, it won't make for an enjoyable episode. Where this is kind of like local, it's there, it's... The only kind of issues you have is just with towns being a bit rubbish in itself. That's the only real bad thing.
Look.
It's a lot of stone.
What are they using it for? Why is it going up and down?
Because it'll be on the floor and then they pick it up.
When they pick it up, it's losing the counter, isn't it? It's like despawning it, essentially.
Because it turns into carried stone, I would imagine.
That is so...
You'd have floor stone, carried stone, and stone stone. Floor stone.
That is so stupid.
Beautiful floor stone.
Oh, God, you have to wonder about the people that fucking coded this game sometimes.
The thing is, though, this is the kind of bare basics of coding. Some of this code you can kind of understand if you were an amateur coder.
Yeah, which unfortunately is what Steam Greenlight seems to attract lots of.
Steam Greenlight, it was made though for these people who would make games like this and then they would blossom and become better.
Yeah,
the issue was they didn't become better. That's the problem. It should be looked at, Steam Greenlight, by Valve themselves, who would turn around and say, like, if a game is good and shows promise, how about you actually try and make it better before releasing it?
Yeah.
That seems to be the issue.
It does feel like it needs some sort of human vetting process, really.
I mean, people can argue about having the money, to do it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, if you need that money and you are very confident in your idea, you could try a Kickstarter or something like that.
That's the thing. I mean,
people throw money at you anyway.
There is some pretty good stuff that's come out of Greenlight, but there's also a load of shit.
Stomping Lands.
Stomping Lands?
Yeah.
Which was that?
That dinosaur one.
I've not seen that. Have you seen that Endless Runner one, where you just literally frozen in place? It's like a fucking Unity game. And it's like, you literally just stood there, and it's like... Remember the old handheld LCD games I had when I was a kid, where it was like... It wasn't so much graphics as pre-printed images on an LCD.
And it just lit them up.
Yeah, it's like that, basically.
Well,
but worse, in fact. I would rather play one of the old handhelds.
If I remember these facts correctly...
Fucking Vampire Attack. That game was amazing! I wish someone would remake Vampire Attack for the mobile.
If I remember this correctly...
I hate mobile games. Go on.
Stomping Land was early access.
Yeah.
Multiplayer online type thing, like Rust, where you go in and there's dinosaurs. And you're a caveman and live with these dinosaurs and bullshit like that. And the guy who was designing the dinosaurs, like the modeler, turned around and said, I've not been contacted by this guy in like 3 weeks.
Yeah,
and he's not paying me. I have no monies. So I'm now leaving. So he left. And still no one could contact the guy who's meant to be making this game. As if he's just gone, summer break's here. Let's go have a fucking 7 months off.
Yeah. Early access is such a bad thing.
Early access has to have some kind of
every now and again you see something nice come through it, but a lot of the time early access is wank.
The one issue I have with early access as well is when you get there's 2 types of games. The game that never updates, that you get worried has just been abandoned, and the game that updates every single day with 1 byte of an update that for some strange reason takes like 10 minutes to come down because it's 1 byte of like 1 billion files that he's added.
Yeah.
It's like, I've added new images to the games, guys. It's only 123,000 images, so it's only 2 bytes. Yes, but then it takes ages to download them. 2 bytes. 2 fucking bytes.
Yeah, mobile games are the other thing I hate at the moment. I've got like some Google Play credit from that survey app thing, and it's just like, I don't even know what to spend it on because everything is so shit on the mobile phone. I can't find anything that I actually want to play. It's all awful.
I love, right, because I like these types of games, Kairosoft.
Yeah.
But their DRM pisses me off so fucking much.
This is the point. There's no point in me getting a game where you have to be online to play it, because I wouldn't play it while I'm with internet. That's the entire point. I want something that, like, when I'm like, oh, there's no internet, I can play something. You know what I mean? It's like, we don't live in America. We don't have Wi-Fi everywhere. When I leave my house, that's it. My phone is now just a phone. I can't access the internet until I go back home. There are no unsecured Wi-Fi networks.
Unless you throw another tenner at your mobile company and get internet data everywhere, which then again is
costs an absolute fucking fortune. So no, I refuse to pay for mobile data. It's ridiculous.
It basically doubles our contract that we're on.
Yeah, but that contract is we're gonna get like 100 meg a month or something. It's pathetic.
Oh yeah, but we get more unlimited text basically.
Yeah, that's pretty much like all my phone is to me is just a fucking way of texting you when I'm not on the internet.
I use it to text everything and everyone. Just consistently texting them all the time, just because of the fact that I've got unlimited text, and it feels like I'm now owed all these texts, so I need to use them.
I'm going to dig out a bit more of this.
I think you should mind through the stairs, around the stairs as well. You know, the way down.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm going around in a sort of circular bit. I don't want to break through any of the walls just yet. I'd rather, because it just encourages them to take long, stupid routes. So I'd rather they just dig out a bit of space first.
So,
but yeah, oh god, I hate mobile games, man.
You can have an emulator, but again, bit of a ball, eh?
It's like all of them have in-app purchases. It's like, I don't want a game with an-app purchase. I want to just buy a game and then play the game.
Well, Kairosoft does that, but as I say, the DRM is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
pretty much all of these require you to connect the internet, usually just for the sole reasons that they can display adverts to you in the game. It's like,
well, this one don't even like display adverts.
It's infuriating.
It's to check if you've got a legitimate copy. Which, fair enough, I don't mind showing you I've got a legitimate copy. But not every single fucking time.
Exactly, surely that only needs to happen once, really.
And it's also like, why do you even check? I don't even understand this nowadays, right? They always check if you've got a legitimate copy. Yet quite clearly, if they've just sold a copy of this game, and they've got your money, then they should not have to keep repeatedly checking that person's IP or anything. Once they check you once, that's it. They should be like, yeah, he's got a legitimate copy, that's fine.
That's what I mean. That's why I just don't have any mobile games. It's like, there's just no point.
Yeah.
And they're all bad. They really are bad.
All the people be in the comments now, Angry Birds is amazing, what are you on about?
If you ever get one of these games, they're just disappointing. It's just pure, utter disappointment. It's like I said, I have played better LCD handheld games than most of the shit on the Google Play Store. You know what I mean?
Well, as I say, I just like Kairosoft.
And that's like...
Which, to me, I wish they'd come to PC. Because I enjoy their games that much.
But these handheld LCD games were so fucking simple that you could easily recreate that on a mobile. And yet, instead of doing that, people just make shit.
You can go on an emulator.
I don't even know where to get one of the ROMs from for that sort of program.
Get the ROMs online.
Yeah.
By typing...
Vampire Attack was the best one. If you Google Vampire Attack, I can't remember who made it, but that was the best game. I fucking loved it.
If you go on Google and say, Google, please may I have a ROM? I think they just give you ROMs. Really nice. Google, really good. Thanks, Google.
I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Sounds totally legit.
Sponsored by Google.
Why are you guys...
They've mined all that stone.
But why aren't they hauling that stone?
Because barrels are full. We've got like 700 stone, haven't we?
Oh,
you have been mining all this stone.
Actually...
I think we had 3 rows, which I think was 600.
Yeah, oh god, yeah, oh
so
shit,
we should have another row of them, basically.
No, that one's empty.
That's wood.
Oh, is that wood?
Wood.
Oh, shit,
and there's all our stone.
Oh, well, that's fine then. We can put them to building up the second wall.
Now get more wood.
Did we always have 8 heroes?
Get some more wood, yeah.
Have we got a new one?
I think we got another night. A shitty night. Get some more stone. Wood. Not stone. Wood.
Get some more stone. Are you sure?
Wood. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. We'll do a quick.
Well, you just said instantly that barrel hasn't got stone in, so he's like, might as well fill it with wood.
We won't start building the wall this episode. We'll do that next episode.
Yeah. We want to get all that wood down.
Next episode, we'll have an idle session so that we get some more hands in, and then we'll start building up these walls.
See, the other issue I have with selecting a game for this, take us back just a second. Towns was actually quite good in the way that if you tell them to chop down some wood, they would chop it down and be quite efficient about it.
Yeah.
Where some games, if you tell them to chop down wood, it takes fucking ages to chop down this wood, or they take ages to move it.
The theory was good.
Because it makes it look, more aesthetically pleasing than them just picking up a fucking log and walking around with it.
I would just really love to play something that has a definite goal in mind. Something a game that has an end that you reach, you know what I mean?
Okay, we'll play that game. What's it called? That one where you're a cube and you have to jump over things. Impossible Game. We'll play that.
No, let's not play that.
Yeah, we'll play that. We'll take it turns. I'll go 10th turn, and you can go 1 till 9.
I was really enjoying playing Lego Lord of the Rings till that died on us.
Yep, well, that's going to happen with a lot of these story-driven games. But the story-driven games have an end goal. Other than that, you play sandbox games, and you make a reason to stop them.
Well, the only reason we had to take that down was because the fucking Lord of the Rings copyright.
That's what I'm saying, though. You'll always have that kind of problem, unless you play something sandboxy and make your own defined goals, unless it's a Lego Lord of the Rings sandbox building game.
There must be other indie games we can play.
Rimworld.
Rimworld, no. Just no.
It's Prison Architect on the Moon.
I didn't even like Prison Architect, to be honest with you.
Oh, blasphemy.
It's another game that seemed to promise a lot and never really delivered anything.
No, they were the opposite. They promised a lot and delivered too much.
You reckon?
Well, yeah, they're still updating it even now. Every week they've got an update coming out. They've got the death thing in now, and loads of other stuff, and they're just updating it every week. About 100 bytes worth of data.
It still feels very much like the exact same game it was a year ago.
Well, yeah, but that's only because, obviously, these people who are in early access aren't like the big-time devs. They don't have massive teams for it. And, so you're expecting 4 people working normal hours, because they don't go extra hours. They work normal, to be fair.
But, the whole point is you expect the game to improve, not just
but they'd need more
have some minor variations.
The annoying thing is people can't really come out with their first game and be amazing.
Well, no.
That's the big problem there. These people. Look at our barrels. That is the main concern of everyone, basically. Because you come out with this amazing game, and there's 4 of you making it, and it shows a lot of promise. Everyone throws money at you, and then they whine about it.
By the same token, one guy made FTL, and it's fucking amazing.
How long did it take him, though?
I don't know, but it was fucking amazing. And then he went and released some free DLC for it, which was fucking amazing.
Yeah, but it's like that guy who made Banish. One guy, 1 year. But he didn't do early access. Imagine if he'd done early access, it'd taken him a year to do it. You would have been in the same position. Going like, well, this is shit.
But that's the point, so don't release it until it's fucking ready.
But some people can't afford that.
But
they're all pumping
tough
fists.
Shit, don't be a game
fist
dev.
Pumping.
You know what I mean?
Then you wouldn't have any indie games. Like that Hero guy you like. The clicker one that we played for the channel.
Yeah,
which he had to rely on.
We Slay Monsters.
He had to rely on, I'm early access. I'm working on this game on my own. Yeah. Please help. And people did. This is the thing. You have to realise that some shit game's going to come out.
Yeah, that's what I think. No, I said that like there is some good stuff in early access, but the vast majority is just I've made half a game and I can't be asked doing any more on it, so I'm going to sell it, take all your cash, and fuck off.
There's just people who are very slow as well. Like, the main thing you should do is, if you ever get money and you're a game dev, is probably hire some more coders.
Yeah.
Because that seems to be a big problem.
Stonehalf, that's just been, like, on the cards for ages, and it's like...
That's been, like, 2 years now.
And what was that other one that
luckily,
was like an MMO or something?
Luckily with Stonehalf, though, it's on Steam, but you can't buy it on Steam.
What was the MMO voxel game?
Oh, Cube World. That just got left, though. That literally got left. There was no updates for like 6 months. And the guy, people started stalking, basically. The guy who was making it. He was just taking his dogs for walks and such.
Yeah, but it looked promising. That's the bad thing. It looked promising, and then it was just went.
The thing is, when you think about it, Stonehalf, when it started, right, they rehauled the engine immediately, because they wanted multiplayer now. So they rehauled that entire engine, which took them back a few months. And then they've basically gone from what they used to be to now, if I remember correctly, they've got combat in there, houses, and dynamic houses as well, by the way. You could just plot out a house and then add a bit to it, add a bit here, add a bit over there, make a second floor if you want, add some bits in there, put windows where you want, doors where you want. It's actually pretty advanced, considering what it used to be.
But still, I think it's got a long way to come before it's a playable experience, start to finish sort of thing. It's not...
I've got trust in them,
It's still very much a tech demo.
I've still got trust in them.
We'll see. Time will tell, Velerious. But for now, we're out of time. So we're going to leave it here. Next episode, we will get the townies idling while we try and get some more people in. And then we're going to use all that fuckloads of stone we've just got to build up these walls. And maybe even put roofs on. And what else? What was the other thing we wanted to do? I guess we need to make armour for them.
Yeah.
We'll have to make some armour. We might have to open the dungeon to get some ites, because I think we've used most of them now.
We have been using a lot of ites.
I'm going to pause Derpsville, Velerious, and if you'd like to say bye-bye to everyone...
Bye-bye.
We'll see you next time, guys. Bye!